A lot of people are going to remember you with great affection and admiration for want of a better word, saved our bank.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that. What were you doing when think that critical period of 1986 to about 1988?
I was on the board of Petrocorp at that stage in Wellington, which was a government, pseudo-government department or company. And Sir John Anderson, who had previously been involved with South Pacific Merchant Finance, then went on to be General Manager of the National Bank and Chairman of New Zealand Cricket. And we're getting vibes and stuff coming through that the bank was undercapitalised. The government was going to pull the government guarantee on loans, and that if we didn't toe the line and follow in and be led like sheep by Dr. Don Brash, we'd all just disappear out the back door.
So the political forces in the market dynamics were such, it looked almost, it was inevitable it was going to happen. So
yes, indeed. I mean, they, at the end of it, their external advisors realised that if we were going to have any chance of fronting that publicly, let alone, I mean, I don't know how many other people have gone head to head with a government. Government, take the government head on. You don't win those very often. We knew that unless we got the signals right and sent out, because all the financial wizards around the country and journos were saying that we were undercapitalised, we won't last 2 minutes. North South magazine, all those sort of things were saying that, and I had to poke my head up over the parapet and say, we're standing alone. The biggest concern is if the community didn't believe me, that would have been the end of my career anyway, I would think.
Right.
And there would have been a run on the bank and everybody would want to take their money out.
So are you exhorting people, please bank locally?
Well, we're saying, be local. Support the very people that are supporting you.
And that was good. And what, you just kept advocating and you had a political victory?
Well, that was one thing, is to stop the run on the bank, stop people having a lack of confidence and moving out of that area and then going to the opposition. While we were doing this, of course, the rest of the trust banks throughout New Zealand were being mopped up into Don Brash's little camp to operate as a standalone bank collectively. TSB Bank didn't join later for the same reason that we didn't join in the first place, and then they were then sold to the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. What it really has said at the end of the day is that over $150 million of dividend from the bank has been distributed through the trust to the people of Taranaki. That would have gone elsewhere.
That's incredible.
We wouldn't have seen daylight in New Zealand. But we had to get across the line a decision by government not to force us by a change of law to be mopped up with the rest of the trust banks throughout New Zealand. That was the first decision, and then there was the questions of legislation passed as to who would be appointing the directors of the bank. The irony of that is that at that stage the government was still doing it because they had the government guarantee, and of course they put all their mates on. If you happen to be on the wrong side of the political fence.
So when did you become a director of the bank?
1984.
And how did that come about?
Mainly because they were looking for somebody locally that that obviously.
So you were a director of the bank before the political crisis came to a head.
Oh, I know, and I mean, I think when you go back and have a look, I think the dividend from the bank before we became a single entity was something like 125,000 for the first year. It's equivalent now of about 10 or 15 million a year. So. I mean, you can dispute the figures as much as you like, but the proof's in the pudding. It's there.
I'll ask anyway, and you're not into shit stirring, but the TSB Community Trust is rebranded as the TOI Foundation. Some think, that's great for being inclusive and having a strap line and equity and, representing the community and that, but some people don't like the fact that the Taranaki or the TSB is not mentioned. You initially had a little bit of disquiet and reservations. Well, what can you say without being provocative?
Well, not much really. I think, from my perspective, having been right through that battle and fought like hell to make sure it was retained in Taranaki, there's nothing worse than the shareholder of the bank disconnecting itself from the company that's providing the money for them to do what they want to do. I mean, there's no logic in that whatsoever. People have said the same thing. What the hell are these people doing? I mean, their argument is different. Oh, we are going to be more inclusive. Their job, first of all, is to represent the shareholders of that bank. There's only one, and that is the TSB Community Trust, or now the TOI Foundation. The TOI Foundation to the average person in the street means absolutely bloody nothing.
I'm sort of a journalist and I haven't studied into it, because it's like motherhood. Everyone acknowledges how lucky we are to have the TSB and how amazing it's been with the TSB Community Trust, the dispersing the money, and we are the better from it. It's a great narrative. It's a Taranaki story. And, with Black Lives Matter and being inclusive, my heart's saying the TOI Foundation is a good thing, but it's true, when you ask Mr. and Mrs. Average, it's going to take a while for them to understand, because it's so different, isn't it?
Yeah, but my biggest concern really is that that's a slap in the face for the bank. It sounds like the trust wants to disassociate itself in a public way from the very hand that's feeding it, and that to me that's not how you do business.
Because there are some people that have made what I call a knee-jerk, reactive, populist comment. But hey, when you fought for the bank and you care for the bank, I was interested by your comments.
Yep. I've said my piece, and that's it. They ultimately make the decision. Nothing you can do about that, but it doesn't mean to say I necessarily have to agree with them every day of the bloody week.
David Lean, you're a modest person, and many a time you have declined doing a video interview with me. You must be so proud of you and who you're working with. 150 million being dispersed back to Taranaki, and then the environmental improvements when you were mayor. I mean, that's not bad, and we haven't even got time to talk about your role on the TRC, so you must look back on the TSB with great satisfaction and fulfilment.
Oh, I do, but I mean, there's no such thing in a political world of looking backwards. There's nothing as past mayor. I mean, it's as simple as that. The heart's still there, the funds will still be generated from here, but when you disassociate yourself from a proven brand, and that the TSB is a proven brand, we've put everything into that to get that clear, one simple message out, reinforced daily in every form of advertising you do, and the shareholder bites you in the bum. Sorry, that's not good enough in my book.